You close your eyes, and inside your mind a soft stage lights up. A place where faces appear and landscapes unfold without a sound. A quiet question floats in the dark, simple and familiar, like a small lantern you can hold in your hand. What time is it for you at this exact moment? Welcome to a slow, gentle journey through the science of dreaming and the sleeping brain. Imagine settling into a calm place, like a room lit by warm lamplight, with a window slightly open to the night. The air is cool and still, and in the background you hear the faint hush of the world breathing. You can let your thoughts slow down, like pages turning at an easy pace. We're going to wander through what science knows so far, and what it still holds softly, without hurry, without hard edges. If you wish to drift, you can. The words can be like a blanket over your shoulders, a steady rhythm to keep you company. Picture your day folding up like a map. All the sounds, the little flashes of color, the smells, the feelings, the plans, and the surprises, they settle as evening arrives. When you lie down, the outside world grows dim, and inside, the brain begins its nightly ceremony. The sleeping brain is not off, it is not empty. It becomes a gentle city at night, with certain streets glowing and others quiet, with patterns of traffic that follow a deeper rule. Sleep comes in waves and stages, and dreams move along those stages like slow clouds. Researchers describe two broad kinds of sleep. One kind is called non-REM, or NREM for short. The other kind is called REM, for rapid eye movement, named for the tiny darting motion of the eyes beneath closed eyelids. These two kinds of sleep take turns, circling through the night and repeating cycles. In the early part of the night, non-REM is deeper, steadier, a quiet descent into a still lake. Later, REM becomes longer, more frequent, like a tide that returns again and again before dawn. Dreams can happen in both kinds, though the flavor tends to shift. In non-REM, dreams can be shorter, more fragmentary, like flickers of light on a wall. In REM, they can be vivid, colorful, and story-like, rich with scenes and characters. Inside your brain during non-REM, groups of neurons, the brain's tiny messengers, hum at a slow, synchronized rhythm. If you could listen to the electrical music of the cortex, the big folded sheet of brain tissue, you would hear long, gentle waves, like slow breathing. Scientists give names to these waves. They speak of slow waves and spindles. Slow waves are broad, rolling pulses, like a calm swell on a moonlit ocean. Spindles are brief bursts, delicate and quick, like a hummingbird passing by a quiet porch. These bursts appear in a structure called the thalamus, deep in the center of your head, and sweep across the cortex. Together, slow waves and spindles seem to help the brain settle new memories, like a librarian shelving books after a busy day, placing them where they will be easy to find. In REM sleep, the waves change. The brain's rhythms become faster and more mixed, closer to the pattern seen when you are awake. Certain brain chemicals, like acetylcholine, rise, as if the mind has opened windows to let in more movement and play. Others, like norepinephrine and serotonin, fall to very low levels, which changes how emotions feel and how attention moves. The brain's visual areas, which help you see, light up even though no light reaches your eyes. The limbic system, involved with emotion, stirs and glows. The prefrontal cortex, The part that plans and evaluates becomes quieter, like a careful teacher stepping out of the room for a little while. This may explain why dreams in REM feel bold and strange, bolder than usual, yet free of judgment, as if rules have softened and the story can wander where it wants. You can imagine a painter at an easel, mixing colors that you did not expect to see together, and yet, on the canvas of sleep, they blend. Your brain holds a vast gallery of images and sounds, faces and places. During dreams, it draws from those collections and arranges them in new ways. You might find yourself standing near the ocean and inside a childhood kitchen at the same time. A friend may speak with the voice of a stranger, and somehow it still makes sense. Science sees this as an example of how the brain associates and recombines what you have experienced, a process that seems strange only when you measure it against morning logic. At night, the brain speaks a looser dialect. You might be curious about whether dreams are random or purposeful. Scientists move carefully here. Some evidence suggests that dreams help with memory, emotion, and creativity. Other evidence suggests that dreams can be shaped by chance, by noise in the neuronal system, by a kind of internal weather. Both may be true in their own way. Neurons fire in patterns, and patterns invite meaning. When the brain senses a pattern, it often finds a story. The story is not an accident. The story is the brain's way of making sense, of making feelings gentle, of testing ideas, of filing experiences. Memory during sleep is a steady theme in research. There is a structure in the brain called the hippocampus. If you picture the brain as a landscape, the hippocampus is like a curved shoreline tucked inside the temporal lobe, important for recording new memories of events. During the day, it collects. At night, it seems to replay. Tiny patterns that fired while you learned a melody or walked through a new neighborhood can fire again, faster and more compressed, as if the day is being skimmed and sorted. The cortex listens and integrates. Some connections strengthen, like well-trodden paths becoming smoother. Others weaken, like footprints fading in the sand. This balancing act is sometimes called homeostasis for synapses, meaning a return to a healthy balance between too strong and too weak. Dreaming may help hold the steady center between storing and clearing, between remembering and letting go. Now imagine feelings. The work of a day leaves traces in the body and mind. Small tensions form and then release. The limbic system holds those feelings, and during REM sleep it often becomes more active. The amygdala, which helps tag certain events as important, glows brighter. The anterior cingulate, involved in monitoring and tuning emotion, participates. Dreams reflect this. Emotional situations rise, sometimes tender and sometimes intense, but often softer by morning. When norepinephrine drops during REM, the brain has less of the chemical that sharpens stress. Emotional memories may be replayed in a calmer internal setting, like rehearsing a difficult scene with gentle lighting and a trusted director who speaks softly. Over time, this can reduce the bite of certain feelings, allowing you to carry them with more ease. Scientists study dreams with many tools. There is the EEG, which measures electrical activity at the scalp, a kind of oceanography for brain waves. There is the EOG, which tracks eye movements, useful for spotting those quick motions in REM. There is the EMG, which records muscle tone, often showing how most of the body becomes still during REM. This stillness is called atonia. It is like a helpful pause button that keeps you from acting out your dreams. The brainstem sends signals that relax most skeletal muscles. Your breathing and heart rate can show subtle patterns. Together, these measures form a kind of map known as a polysomnogram. With this map, researchers can say where you are in the cycle of sleep and can ask you, upon waking gently, what you recall. The reports form another layer of data, some detailed, some brief, because memory of dreams fades like mist in sun. Brain imaging adds color. Functional MRI can show which regions are busy. In REM, visual and emotional areas light up. Parts of the prefrontal cortex dim. The default mode network, a set of regions active during daydreaming and internal thought, shows its own nightly rhythm. The salience network, which helps the brain decide what matters, also plays its role. Evidence suggests that dreams emerge from coordination and miscoordination among these systems, a shifting chorus where some voices sing louder and some barely whisper. When the prefrontal judge is soft, associations stretch. When the visual painter is bright, scenes bloom. When the limbic singer lifts a note, feeling comes into focus. People sometimes learn to notice that they are dreaming. This is often called lucid dreaming. In this state, part of your awareness turns toward itself, like one candle lighting another nearby. Some studies show that during lucid dreaming, certain frontal regions regain a bit of activity, as if a quiet supervisor steps back into the room. People can practice techniques to encourage this, such as gently asking during the day whether the world seems clear and consistent, and then carrying that habit into sleep. Breathing slowly and staying calm can preserve lucidity, while trying too hard can tip the dream into wakefulness. Lucid dreams can be playful, like riding a slow-moving cloud. They can also be used for practice, rehearsing skills, or learning to meet feelings with kindness. The science is still growing, and each person's experience can differ. But the theme remains that awareness can extend into the sleeping mind like a soft beam of light. Dream content often echoes life, but bends it. Your brain does not simply replay a movie of the day. It edits, cuts, merges, and rearranges. Your senses are involved, sometimes all at once. Vision is common, though sound and touch appear too. Smell and taste arrive less often, but they can be striking when they do. Some dreams float with almost no body. Others feel solid, with weight and texture. You might walk through a hallway that never existed and feel the coolness of its tiles. You might sit at a familiar table and sense the small give in the wood. The strangeness does not mean nonsense. It can mean that the brain is weaving many sources at once, stitching past and present, real and imagined, into a fabric that aims for understanding more than literal truth. Cultural stories about dreams are wide and varied. Some traditions hold that dreams carry messages. Others see them as art made by the mind. Others as the play of spirits, or as echoes of daily concerns. Science does not aim to erase meaning. It simply adds a layer of observation, saying that the brain has certain rhythms, chemicals, and networks that support the experiences people report. The subjective part remains yours, as personal as a diary. The laboratory does not drain that away. It gives you a simple mirror that reflects the brain's activity, while you bring the colors and shapes of your own experience. There are gentle mysteries that remain. People sometimes share themes in dreams, such as flying slowly over a landscape, or finding a new room in a familiar house. You are not alone if you've explored places that feel both new and known. The brain is a predictive organ. It is always guessing what will come next, filling in the gaps, and updating its model of the world. In dreams, with less input from the outside and more freedom inside, that predictive engine can play. It can test scenarios without risk, like a quiet rehearsal on an empty stage. This could be one reason dreams sometimes feel like practice, not only for memories, but for emotions, social situations, and movement. Animals dream too, as far as we can tell from their sleep signatures and behaviors. Mammals have stages that look like non-REM and REM. Birds do as well. Some reptiles show patterns that may be analogous. Rats that learn a maze during the day show replay patterns at night in the hippocampus, as if they are running the path in fast motion. Zebra finches, birds that learn songs, show spontaneous patterns during sleep that resemble their daytime singing. You can picture a small bird in a safe nest, eyes closed, while its brain quietly sings through the night, refining a melody it learned from a parent at dawn. Not all species share the same balance of sleep stages. Not all dreams are equal in vividness or purpose. Still, across the tree of life, sleep looks deeply conserved, suggesting a vital function that was worth keeping through millions of years. The chemistry of sleep is like the gentle hand of a stage manager. During wakefulness, certain chemical messengers rise to keep you alert and tuned to the world. During sleep, the mix shifts. Acetylcholine rises in REM and falls in non-REM. Norepinephrine and serotonin descend in REM, as mentioned earlier. GABA, an inhibitory messenger, helps quiet the brain's circuits. Adenosine builds up during wake and promotes sleep pressure, then decreases as you rest. Melatonin, a hormone from the pineal gland, rises with darkness, supporting the night's onset. A small region deep in the brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, acts like a clock that keeps time for the body. It listens to light through a pathway from the eyes and sets rhythms in many tissues, not just the brain. This rhythm, called the circadian cycle, gently guides sleep and wake, body temperature and hormones, alertness and digestion. The timing of sleep shapes the landscape of dreams. Many people find that dreams feel stronger toward the morning. That matches the pattern of longer REM periods later in the night. If your sleep is cut short, especially near dawn, your REM minutes shrink. If you sleep in after a short night, REM can rebound, like a tide that had been held back. Travel across time zones, lack of light, stress, and irregular schedules can tilt this balance. Regular routines, consistent bedtimes, a dim evening and a bright morning can encourage a smooth rhythm. Your brain likes signals that agree with each other, like a set of clocks in the same room ticking in time. Researchers also explore how the body cleans itself during sleep. There is a system called the glymphatic system, which moves fluid through the brain's tissues, carrying away certain waste products. During sleep, channels open a little wider and flow increases. Think of it as a slow stream passing through a quiet forest, washing around roots and stones. The cleaning is subtle and ongoing, not a sudden scrub. Healthy sleep seems to support many layers of maintenance. Dreams may be, in part, the mind's voice during these housekeeping hours, a companion hum that keeps the brain tuned while care is taken. Sometimes people notice dreams that carry an echo of stress. This is normal. The sleeping brain may be working through events, emotions, or concerns, taking the sharpness down a notch. When such dreams become too strong or too frequent, gentle help can support you. Methods exist that teach the brain new scripts, replacing repeated bad scenes with calmer ones. Therapists call this imagery rehearsal. You imagine a kinder ending during the day, like changing the path of a stream with small stones, and over time, the night follows. A consistent wind-down routine, lower light in the evening, and a comfortable sleeping space can also tip the scales toward ease. Science here is practical, not stern. It encourages small steps and kindness toward yourself. The content of dreams can be influenced by simple cues. Studies using scent have shown that pleasant smells introduced during sleep can tilt dream emotion in a positive direction. Sounds paired with learning during the day, like a set of tones used while you study, can be played softly at night to gently reinforce a memory. This is sometimes called targeted memory reactivation. The effect is subtle but real. It is like placing a bookmark in a chapter so that the mind finds the page more easily later on. The key is softness, very low volume, and no disturbance. The brain is sensitive when it is sleeping, always balancing depth with stability. The physical body during REM is mostly still, as mentioned. Yet the heartbeat and breathing can become more variable. Small twitches can appear in fingers, toes, and facial muscles, like tiny ripples across a pond. The eyes dart, scanning scenes that exist only inside. Some researchers have found that these eye movements can correspond to changes in the dream scene, such as looking left or right in the imagined world. In rare experimental settings, trained lucid dreamers have sent simple signals to the lab by moving their eyes in prearranged patterns while asleep. This creates a soft bridge between the dawn of a dream and the instruments measuring it. The idea that the sleeping brain can speak to the waking world in this way feels like a small miracle of coordination, but it follows the same rule as all sleep science: gentle setup, patient observation, clear signals, kind interpretation. Different ages bring different dreams. Babies and children spend more time in REM sleep, as if growth and learning invite longer periods of internal rehearsal. Childhood dreams can be colorful and lively, full of animals and play. Adolescence bends content towards social themes, new identities, and challenges. Adulthood often emphasizes relationships, work, and the mosaic of daily life. Older adults may dream a little less frequently or recall fewer details on waking, though the ability to dream remains. Each life stage brings its own landscape, shaped by experience and need. People sometimes share that music enters their dreams, not just as a background, but as part of the story. The auditory cortex, which helps process sound, remains active in sleep and can work with the brain's internal composer. You may hear a song that has never been written, a melody that arises from memory and invention. Visual artists have reported colors and images that feel fresh when they awake. Scientists over the years have described solutions to problems that appeared in a dream, not always exact, but often useful. The mind at night can explore pathways that daytime habits might skip. It may feel like letting a shy thought finally speak in a safe room. The line between waking and dreaming can sometimes feel thin. Hypnagogia, the transition into sleep, can bring brief, vivid images and sounds. They flicker and fade as you cross into deeper sleep. Hypnopompia, the transition out of sleep, can carry a lingering scene or sound that dissolves as light returns. These borderlands are normal. They are like the soft edges of a watercolor painting where colors blend. Many artists, thinkers, and everyday dreamers note that these moments can be gentle sources of ideas. Keeping a small notebook or a simple note app near your bed can help catch a few ideas without straining. The goal is not hunting, but welcoming. Some people notice that their dreams reflect body sensations. A cool breeze in the room might become a dream of walking by a lake. A pressure from the blanket might become a dream of resting under a gentle cat. Internal sensations can also be woven in. A faster heartbeat might become a dream of climbing steps. The brain is skilled at making stories from signals. It always aims to make sense, to build a scene that explains the feelings it senses. When the world is quiet, the inner orchestra becomes the primary score. The composition can be simple or complex. It always has a tempo that matches your biology. Across cultures and times, humans have created tools to remember dreams. Before electric lights, nights were longer, and sleep sometimes came in 2 sections, with a quiet, wakeful period in between. People would rest, dream, wake for a while to talk softly or tend to small tasks, then sleep again. In that quiet middle, dreams could be recorded in the memory more easily. Today, with different schedules, dream recall may be short. You can encourage it with gentle habits. When you wake, remain still for a moment. Keep your eyes soft. Let the scene form on its own. If it helps, you can use a simple phrase to anchor the memory, like the name of a place or the color of a coat. Then make a small note, no pressure. The practice can be light, like collecting a few seashells from a beach you love. There are differences in dream experience among people. Some dream in strong images. Others report more thoughts than pictures, or more feelings than events. Some people dream in color, some notice grayscale. Some hear language clearly, others less so. These variations do not mark better or worse. They simply reflect how your brain's networks prefer to play. The human brain is diverse, shaped by genetics, development, experience, health, and context. If your dream life feels sparse, it may be that recall is low, not that dreams are absent. If your dream life feels full, you can welcome it and rest in the knowledge that it is part of your natural rhythm. A gentle curiosity rises around nightmares. Science sees them as stronger versions of emotional dreams, with heightened arousal that can break the restful rhythm. They can be a part of processing experiences that carry weight. When needed, as mentioned earlier, techniques exist to soften them, such as imagery rehearsal, relaxation, and mindful breathing. Therapeutic support is available and can be very comforting. The key is a sense of safety. Your sleeping brain does its best work when it feels held, with a stable routine and a kind environment. Over time, even difficult dream themes can lessen, like storms that move out to sea and leave calmer water behind. You might be curious about how dream time compares to wake time. Reports suggest that time in dreams often runs at a similar pace to wakefulness, although it can stretch or compress. Lucid dream studies using eye signals have suggested that counting or doing simple tasks may take about as long as in wake, with variation. Still, the memory of the dream, measured in the morning, tends to compress. What felt like a long story can condense into a handful of images. This is natural. The brain stores a sketch rather than a full film reel. It saves space and keeps the essence. Science also looks at how different substances and conditions affect dreams. Alcohol can fragment sleep and reduce REM in the early night, sometimes leading to a rebound later. Caffeine can delay sleep onset and reduce depth. Some medications alter dream recall or intensity by shifting brain chemistry. Gentle changes in evening habits, such as limiting stimulants, reducing bright screens, and allowing a wind-down period, can improve sleep and influence how dreams feel. A warm bath an hour or two before bed can help drop core body temperature after you step out, which supports sleep onset. A comfortable room with clean air and a temperature that suits you creates the stage on which dreams can unfold with ease. Creativity and problem-solving in dreams have a special light. You can picture a quiet workshop at night, where ideas hover in the air like dust motes in a beam of light. The mind takes a step away from the hard edges of daily tasks and explores combinations it did not attempt while the sun was up. Musicians, scientists, writers, and everyday people have reported an insight arriving in the morning like a small gift. The science suggests that during REM, the brain's associations become broader and more inclusive. Remote connections are more likely to be tested. When you awake, those pathways remain a little more open, at least for a while, which can help with creative tasks. The effect is not a guarantee, but a gentle tilt. A short nap that includes some REM can sometimes offer a similar shift. When illness or stress reduces sleep quality, dreams can change. Lighter sleep can bring more awakenings and easier recall. Heavy stress can make dream themes more intense. Gentle support can help. A quiet evening routine, dim light, calm soundscapes, a notebook for worries to put down before bed, some slow breathing to lengthen exhalation, and, when needed, guidance from a healthcare professional can rebuild the restful rhythm. Science is careful here because each person's situation is unique. The general lesson is that the brain responds to care. It listens to kindness and structure. Even the position in which you sleep can tilt dream recall. Some people report more vivid recollection when waking from a nap on their back, others on their side. The reasons can include breathing patterns and arousal thresholds. This is not a rule, only a small note in the margins. You can experiment gently and see what suits you. Keeping your neck and shoulders comfortable, your hips supported, and your room peaceful will likely bring more benefit than any single trick. Dreams can also involve the sense of self in subtle ways. You may be you, with your current age and memories, or you may inhabit another point of view. Identity in dreams is flexible. The brain, while in sleep, seems to hold the sense of self like clay that is not fully dried, soft enough to reshape. This can be soothing. If the day carried a fixed role or demand, the night can offer a lighter identity, or many in succession. The point is not confusion, but practice and relief. Waking identity returns with the sun, and most people find it intact and refreshed. Artists have long tried to capture the texture of dreams. Painters layer translucent color to mimic fog and light. Writers choose images that float and recur, like a motif in music. Filmmakers use soft focus and slow pans, then a sudden change in scene. Science, for its part, brings measurements that underlie these experiences. It shows the rhythm that supports the feeling, the chemistry that supports the color, the anatomy that supports the stage. These perspectives complement each other. You can enjoy both, like listening to a song that you love and also knowing the notes that form it. Still awake? Comment the secret word nebula. As the night deepens, cycles of sleep repeat. A typical cycle lasts around 90 minutes, although this can vary. In each cycle, non-REM begins, often with lighter stages, then deeper, slow-wave sleep, then back toward lighter stages and into REM. The pattern is not rigid, it sways. Early in the night, slow-wave sleep is abundant, like the bottom of a deep lake. Later, REM stretches, like a shoreline lit by the rising sun. If you wake naturally at the end of a REM period, you may step out of a dream and carry with you a clearer memory of it. If you wake from deep non-REM, the mind can feel like it has been underwater, slow to surface, and the dream may fade before words catch it. The vestibular system, which senses movement and balance, can make its presence known in dreams. You might float or glide, fly slowly, or rise along a staircase that becomes a river of air. This sensation emerges because the brain can simulate motion from within, relying on internal maps and predictions. The gentle mismatch between the still body and the imagined motion can feel pleasant, even freeing. As with many dream features, the feeling carries its own logic, not beholden to the rules of daytime physics. The brain is not trying to fool you. It is exploring possibilities inside a sandbox where nothing breaks. Social themes appear in many dreams. You talk to friends, meet strangers, share meals, and join groups. The theory of mind, the brain's ability to model what others think and feel, remains active in sleep. You practice kindness, boundaries, curiosity, and understanding. Memory of faces is rich and durable, so familiar people crop up often, blended with new features as the brain assembles composite characters. Some researchers propose that social simulation is one role of dreaming, offering safe rehearsal for the complex dance of human life. The evidence suggests that this can be part of the picture, another strand in the braid. Dreams often borrow objects from your surroundings and give them new meanings. A door can be a choice. A bridge can be a transition. A train can be a line of thought. The symbolism here is not a fixed code handed down from above, but a very personal language that your mind invents on the spot. Science does not assign universal meaning to specific images. It does, however, note that metaphor is a basic function of the brain. The mind likes to map one thing onto another. That is how understanding grows. In sleep, metaphors flow more freely, like water finding its level. One of the gentle wonders of dreams is their way with space. Dream rooms can be larger inside than the building allows. Streets can bend into loops that return you to the starting point without effort. Distances change to suit the story. You might walk far in a few steps. This is not a flaw. It is the brain optimizing for story and emotion, not for a survey map. The spatial systems in the brain, including the hippocampus with its place cells and the grid cells that map space, provide scaffolding. But the final shape is drawn by a different team, one that cares about themes and transitions. Light in dreams can behave like a character. a pale dawn that never arrives, a lamp that warms the whole scene, a moon that follows you. Your visual cortex processes these qualities even without photons. This shows how rich internal imagery can be. People who are blind from birth often dream with sound, touch, and spatial awareness, reflecting their sensory experiences. People who lose sight later may retain visual imagery in dreams for years, drawn from memory. The brain works with the tools it has, and those tools are shaped by life. Temperature also plays a role in sleep. The body's core temperature drops as you fall asleep and stays lower through the night. A slightly cooler room can support this gentle dip. Heavy blankets can create a comforting sense of pressure for some people, which can aid relaxation, while breathable materials help the body's natural cooling. These physical details form the nest in which dreams unfurl. The mind and body are not separate towers. They are a single house with many rooms, quietly talking to each other. Breathing during sleep changes too. In non-REM, it is steady and calm. In REM, it can vary more, following the ebb and swell of scenes. Gentle practices in the daytime, like slow breathing with longer exhalations, can tone the nervous system, making it easier to slip into sleep and ride its cycles. Because dreams often weave sensations into stories, a calm body can influence the mood of the night's narratives. The mind listens to the lungs and the heart, and they listen back. People sometimes compare dreaming with daydreaming. Both involve internal imagery and a loosening of focus. The default mode network appears in both. The difference is in depth and context. Daydreaming leaves the doors and windows open to the world. Dreaming closes them and draws the curtains, while letting the house come alive inside. Both states can be nourishing. Both can refresh creative energy and soften rigid patterns of thought. In the history of science, the discovery of REM sleep was a quiet landmark. In the 1950s, researchers noticed the rapid eye movements and the brain's wake-like patterns during sleep. Waking people from these periods often produced detailed dream reports. Over time, this led to a new map of sleep stages. Later, advances in electronics and imaging expanded the view. Today, scientists continue to refine these maps, adding detail to the edges and exploring the overlaps. Even with all this, humility remains. The brain is the most complex known object, and dreams are a direct expression of that complexity in a peaceful state. There are intriguing clinical observations that hint at how the brain constructs dreams. People with certain lesions or disruptions in specific regions may report changes in dream imagery. A region called the temporoparietal junction, involved in integrating sensory information and the sense of the body in space, appears important. When it is affected, dreams can lose their usual spatial coherence. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex, important for valuation and emotion, can change how emotional themes play out. These observations do not reduce dreams to parts. They show how many hands contribute to the tapestry. Learning and sleep form a pair. After studying something new, a good night's sleep tends to improve recall and performance. Specific patterns in non-REM, like spindles and slow waves, seem especially helpful for facts and skills. REM appears more involved in integrating knowledge and extracting the gist. Dreams may be a signature of this work, like the pattern the loom leaves in a cloth. If you imagine your day as threads, varied in color and texture, then sleep is the nightly weaving that turns them into fabric. Dreams are the designs that appear as the threads cross. You can gently guide your sleep with routines that are simple and kind. A consistent bedtime and wake time, even on days off, sets the inner clock. Reducing bright light in the hour before bed tells your body that night is here. Screen filters and warm lamps help. Reading a calm book, listening to soft music, or sitting with a cup of herbal tea can signal safety. Keeping the bedroom a place for rest, with less clutter and quiet colors, supports relaxation. If worries swirl, writing them down on paper and setting the paper aside can assure the mind that they have been heard and can wait. These habits do not force sleep, they invite it. People sometimes notice patterns over weeks or months. When a theme repeats, it can be a sign that the mind is working on a topic that matters. Recognizing this with gentle curiosity rather than pressure can help. You can say to yourself that your brain is attempting to sort, to repair, to adjust. You can thank it for its effort and offer it good conditions. You do not have to solve everything at night. The process can be slow and steady. Like a tree growing in a courtyard, dreams can add rings quietly, without anyone watching. Dream recall benefits from timing. If you wake briefly during a dream, memories stick more easily. Alarms and light can cause abrupt awakenings that scatter the fragments. A natural waking, or a gentle alarm that rises slowly in volume or brightness, may preserve the thread. If recall is a goal, you can stay still as you wake and let the dream reassemble itself from the last image backward. Then write a few lines. Over time, recall can improve. As it does, the relationship with your sleeping mind can feel warmer, as if you have learned to greet it at the gate each morning. The ethics of sleep research reflect its intimate subject. Dreams are personal. Studies typically protect privacy and use careful consent. Participants volunteer, and their reports are treated with care. The science grows through this trust. When you read about findings, you can remember that real people lay quietly in dark rooms with electrodes gently placed, sharing their experiences for the sake of understanding something universal. It is a tender process that honors both data and dignity. Not all questions in this field can be answered yet. For example, the precise role of dreams in mental health is an active area. Correlations exist between sleep quality and mood, anxiety, and cognition. Interventions that improve sleep can support well-being. Whether dreams themselves are a necessary part of these benefits or a companion signal is an ongoing inquiry. The answer may be that dreams are one of several interwoven processes that together maintain balance. The brain rarely entrusts a critical job to a single mechanism. It spreads responsibility across networks and time. Language in dreams sometimes behaves playfully. Puns appear. Words fold into images, and images into words. This shows how strongly the brain connects different forms of representation. The language areas, while not fully awake, still participate. Memory makes links, and novelty arises from those links. When you wake up smiling at a pun you never would have thought while tired at your desk, that is a small sign that the night was at work on your behalf, scrubbing rust from connections and letting them sparkle again. Some people wonder about dream control. A light touch works better than force. If you set a gentle intention before sleep, such as visiting a calm place in your mind, and then relax fully, you may occasionally notice that your dreams lean that way. Visualization exercises can support this. You can imagine a favorite landscape, a quiet beach or a forest path, with as much sensory detail as you enjoy. You can breathe slowly and invite your body to soften from your forehead to your toes. Then release expectations and let sleep take over. Sometimes the mind carries the intention into sleep like a pebble carried in a pocket. It does not always work, and that is fine. The goal is to befriend your nights, not to pin them down. Safety in sleep matters. Your bed is a small boat. You set it gently on a calm sea each night. Good pillows and a supportive mattress are the hull and rudder. Light bedding that suits the weather is the sail. Noise control is the shoreline that quiets the waves. Scents that you find pleasant can be the wind. Some people enjoy the soft presence of a white noise machine, like a distant waterfall. Others prefer silence. The important thing is that your boat feels like home, steady and kind. If you share a sleeping space with a partner or a pet, their rhythms can mingle with yours. A cat may curl at your feet and purr, adding a soft vibration to the night. A partner's breathing can synchronize with your own. Dreams may reflect these companions, not in literal scenes, but in the sense of being with others. The social brain remains active, even in rest. You carry your community with you, and in turn, your rest supports your relationships. The brain's ability to imagine movement without moving is a gift. Athletes sometimes use mental rehearsal to improve skills, and sleep appears to help consolidate that practice. While you rest, the motor cortex and associated networks can run quiet drills. This does not replace waking practice, but it adds to it. The more calmly you sleep, the more smoothly those internal rehearsals can proceed. Dreams may contribute here by providing the context and sensation that glue the rehearsal together, like adding music to exercise. Technology now allows for gentle biofeedback. Watches and rings can estimate sleep stages, heart rate, and temperature. These are estimates, not exact measurements, but they can help you notice patterns. If the data helps you make kinder routines, it is useful. If it causes strain, you can place it aside. The simplest signs of good sleep still matter the most. You wake feeling reasonably refreshed. You move through your day with enough energy. You fall asleep without a long struggle. Kind routines are often better than complicated hacks. Dreams have edges that fade. This is part of their charm. Like footprints on a beach at low tide, they are not meant to last forever. A few stay, especially those attached to strong emotions or novel ideas. Most recede. The brain makes room for the new day. You can trust that what needed to be kept will stay long enough to do its work. The rest returns to the sea and becomes part of the next night's currents. If you would like a simple way to invite calmer dreams, you can try this. As you lie down, soften your jaw and let your eyes rest within their sockets, as if they were two small boats in still water. Place your attention on your breath and extend your exhales slightly, perhaps counting to 4 as you breathe in and 6 as you breathe out. Imagine a warm, soft light at the top of your head that slowly moves down, relaxing your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Then let it move through your chest and back, your belly and hips, your legs and feet. Picture a place that feels safe and calm, with gentle light and a soft texture under your feet. You do not need to force anything. You are simply telling your nervous system that it is safe to rest. The brain listens to this story and often responds. When you wake the next morning, you can thank your sleeping brain for its work, even if you do not remember what it did. Gratitude can set a kind tone for the day, which can in turn support the next night. These small cycles, given time, build a stable structure. Science at its heart is about patterns, and the pattern of care is one of the strongest. Newer research explores how dreams might help integrate the sense of self. Memories of episodes, facts, skills, and identity all live in overlapping networks. During REM, those networks communicate in a slightly different accent. Boundaries blur just enough to allow negotiation. It is as if the mind holds a meeting in a quiet room at night, where members arrive without the pressure of daylight and find common ground. In the morning, a small decision has been made, and you move through your day with a touch more ease, even if you cannot say exactly why. Dreams can be humorous in a gentle way. They make connections that surprise. You might laugh in a dream, and that laughter can be easy and childlike. Humor is one of the brain's tools for release. When you wake with a smile because an avocado wore tiny sunglasses, or a staircase sang a tune, you can enjoy the sign that your mind was loosening knots and letting air in. Lightness matters as much as depth. Some traditions suggest asking for a dream for guidance before sleep. Science views this neutrally, noting that setting intentions can shape attention. If you quietly ask your mind to consider a theme and then let it go, you may increase the chance that your sleeping brain will touch it. This is not a promise, but a possible nudge. In the morning, you can sift any images or feelings you recall with patience. The value lies not in prophecy, but in reflection. Your mind knows you well. It can show you angles you did not see in the bright rush of noon. There is a gentle paradox in dreaming. The brain is deeply at rest and highly active at the same time. Muscles are calm, and inner theaters are busy. Hormones support healing, and imagination paints. It is a sign of the brain's economy. It uses time well. While the body restores, the mind rehearses, reorganizes, and occasionally invents. Consider how regular sleep affects mood. After a night of good sleep, people often feel more balanced and resilient. After poor sleep, irritability rises and attention wavers. Dreams participate in this by smoothing emotional edges, by offering rehearsal for social interactions, and by consolidating positive memories alongside difficult ones. The brain appears to weigh experiences and decide which ones to strengthen. Sleep supports this weighing gently and wisely. Finally, the simple fact remains that some parts of dreaming are still a mystery. This is not a failure. It is an invitation. The mind's quiet theater holds secrets not yet ready to be written down, and that is part of its beauty. Science walks forward with patience, measuring, comparing, and refining. Each new study adds a leaf to the book. Meanwhile, your nights continue their work, whether you watch them or let them pass unseen. As we come toward the end of this calm journey, you can rest in a few simple thoughts.
Dreams are a natural part of sleep.
The brain cycles through non-REM and REM, each with its role. Chemicals shift gently, networks hum, and stories unfold. Dreams appear to help with memory, emotion, and creativity, though not every detail is known. They are personal and universal at once, a quiet practice under the stars. You can support them with stable routines, a peaceful room, kind habits, and a soft attitude toward yourself. If you are drifting now, you can let go even more. Picture the night as a slow river, and your thoughts as leaves floating toward a wide, calm lake. Each breath is an oar stroke that requires almost no effort. The shore is always near. Here is the simple closing thought. When you dream, your brain is not lost or broken. It is at work in a different mode, one that values patterns, feelings, and possibilities. It restores and rehearses. It sorts and softens. Morning arrives, and you carry a little of that quiet intelligence into the day, even if you remember nothing at all. If this peaceful science kept you company and helped you rest, a gentle like and a quiet subscribe will help you find your way back to more calm journeys. May your next sleep be easy and your dreams be kind.